All right. Nope. We got Michael Lee on the bottom playing Amulet Titan at 2-0. And another Jacob on the top, Jacob Lamothe, playing Is It Prowess? Looks like they are starting off game number 1 here. Hands fanned out. Mulligan for Michael, perhaps.
Okay, so deck of the tournament here, I would say so far. We're very early, but Amulet Titan, I mean, we've been seeing the tweets, we've been seeing the messages on Blue Sky, and a lot of the great players are like, all right, it's Amulet time. So we'll see if they are all right. And I will say, the one thing about Amulet, it did well at the Pro Tour, put one player into the top 8, had a great win percentage. Great as in, like, everything, I think it had like a 58 or 60% win rate, which is very good. Sometimes we see, like, when Teamer Breach was in the metagame, that had, like, 68% win rate, but that's because that deck was absurd and needed to go. But a 58% win rate at a Pro Tour when everyone knows how to play against Amulet Titan is pretty impressive. Here at a regional championship, that might not be the case. Players are not as attuned to deal with Amulet Titan line, so I think Amulet's going to do a lot better at an RC than it would at a Pro Tour.
We will see. At that high metagame share, that would be a pretty scary tournament if it did. So,
it really would be.
Urge Stalker for Michael in the bottom off a Mulligan. We see Jacob on top casting a Preordain off a little Steam Vents. Who do you think is favored here?
I would think, God, it's pretty close. I would think game 1 goes to Michael here. And then when you can get some interaction here from the Is It Prowess side, depending on what we have, I would think it can even up. But there is not a lot of interaction here from the Is It Prowess side. So I would say advantage to Amulet.
Even with the pure speed of the kind of goldfishy draws, mutagenic growths and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, Jacob, I'm sure there's some draw where you can win on turn 2 with Slick Shot and like all your mutagenic growths, something like that. But there are plenty of ways that Titan wins on turn 2. And the only interaction that Slick Shot Is It Prowess has is burn spells, like bolts and darts. So I would give the advantage to Titan, especially if they were on the play.
All right, well, no turn 2 kill here for Michael. We see just a Rumble, a Scion, Urza Saga going up to 2, and a nice basic Forest there. And now Jacob's turn to get in the board and do some damage. Turn 1 Preordain is not exactly what the Is It Prowess deck is looking for.
Not the fastest. Not the fastest, that's for sure.
All right, so we see Corey Steelcutter. Right, Corey?
Right. We're cutting some steel here. Let's see if there is... Oh, I was going to say a bobble or something, but mutagenic growth is not as strong. But, hey, when you got to get a creature going and attacking, you'll do whatever you can here.
I mean, the problem here, of course, is now the spawn token's a 2/3. So
you can't attack into that spawn.
This is a disastrous start here for Jacob.
Or you just confidently attack.
Yep.
Represent mutagenic growth number 2 and put Michael to the test.
I would have loved to have seen that.
Loved it.
I would have made my day.
Agreed. We would have just called it match of the day already and been on our way.
Well, now Saga's doing the thing. Here comes the Amulet, and it's Michael's time to shine at 20 life. And Corey Steelcutter is a phenomenal card, but definitely a card more for the grindy matchups.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was a absolutely busted card in Standard. A little faster here in the Amulet Titan modern world. And Amulet of Vigor, I think we're going to be seeing this card and talking about it quite a lot here, Jim.
Yes, and these Amulet decks have been evolving. And then evolving, and then evolving. It feels like every week they have a new kill condition, so
yeah,
we'll be able to walk through that once we get to that point, if we get to that point. But Michael's looking pretty good here. And now it's time to think. How much mana do I have? What colors do I have? Just a Rumble.
Starting it off with a Rumble, I got to say, Rumble is just not only one of the greatest commons I think we've gotten in a long time. It's pretty much Ponder. You're able to 1 mana, look at 4 cards. It gives you that rebate at some point. So sometimes it's literally better than Ponder, and Ponder is one of our best kind of cantrips here. Getting yourself a Scion that can block, too, is really powerful. And finding Amulet number 2 here could easily mean GG. Yeah. Amulet looks so different when you have 2 Amulets compared to 1.
Yeah, with 2 in play, it's freakish.
It really is.
It's like, what is even happening right now? All right, it's 2 cute little Scions. Got a buddy. And we see a Lava Dart in hand. I could take care of a Scions maybe at some point, but might not get the chance. Michael thinking about it, taking the second Amulet. Yes, no. Going for a pump fake.
Yeah.
All right, there's second Amulet. Those cards go to the bin. And now it is go time.
Yeah, looks like it's on. I think that's Echoing Deep that is just revealed.
And now, of course, now you see the Amulet player, the gears start turning. You know, I don't have those gears in my head personally.
Yeah.
But you can see them in other smarter Amulet players.
It is a rough deck. I mean, I always, whenever I get to a Modern tournament, whenever I'm testing for it, it's like, all right, let's always refresh ourselves because, like you said, Amulet Titan's always getting a new kill. It's always getting a new angle of attack. So just to stay on top of it, I always do my due diligence. And, I started testing it with it leading up to this tournament, and I timed out in game 1 on Magic Online. So, yeah. It's a big brain deck.
I have never done that before in my life. Anyway, next topic. So Michael working it through here. And this deck is very, very hard to play. And it's funny because, like, I would always think of it as like a cabal. You know, you had like the Amulet players, and I picture them like in their little cabal. They have their little group meetings. You know, what are we doing this week? What are we doing that week? But now, with so many players playing it, it's gotten past the cabal. It's now broken into the mainstream.
Exactly.
You know? So we have our hipster Amulet players and our new Amulet players. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out in the real world.
100%. I saw literally, I don't know, I guess we can call him the godfather of Amulet. See, Dom Harvey literally printed out books, the Amulet guide that we saw for like the last Pro Tour, and I just found it hilarious. People were like, you would see testing, pictures from their testing house where one player just has an open Amulet book. At a spot at like turn 3, be like, okay, how does Dom say to actually do this? And I just find it hilarious.
All right, so here comes Lava Darts. So we see a second Corey Steelcutter. Prowess Triggers going off on these monks, and then Lava Dart can take down both these Scion tokens.
Yeah.
Get it for some damage. Now, this isn't exactly the explosive burst of damage Jacob wants. Of course, Michael's still at 20 life. It'll be a decent chunk, but it looks like Michael's going to get a turn with 2 Amulets in play. Yeah,
probably going to get a turn with 2 Amulets, and with that Echoing Deeps that I believe we have revealed there at the bottom of the hand from Michael, there's a bounce line in the graveyard, so no matter what, you can Titan just on surface value there. Even without the spawn. So as long as Michael has that, should be able to get it going.
Yeah, so, and not necessarily a terrible draw on Jacob's side. You know, like, it definitely was not the ideal draw, but a lot of matchups this draw will be quite good. Your opponent's interacting, playing rule spells, fatal pushes, and a spot like this just not quite fast enough.
Yeah, it looks like that Lava Dart went upstairs, too, instead of the spawns. I mean, it's kind of the same as you can block with these, but you take away that option for them to block. I don't know how big of a deal it really is, but...
Yeah, so the Corey Steelcutter monks have trample, but the larger one does not.
Yeah.
So that's the card of Steelcutter that's just so good. The trample part, you can't chump block them. Such a good card.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, folks, it's party time. For not the first time and definitely not the last year on coverage, 2 Amulets in play, tap in a forest.
2 so far.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry. So here's Echoing Deep, as you said. It's going to come in as a copy of a bounce land.
Yeah, I would assume Simic Growth Chamber, the first land we see at the bottom right-hand part of our screen. So that's going to be 4 mana with the Simic Growth Chamber, 5/6 with the 2 other lands. And it's prime time.
Prime time. Let's go get some lands, see what's up.
And there's just, the thing now is like, normally it's like, okay, you get this set amount of lands to start, but it is contextual to what's in your hand. You know, we could be going for the Hand War Battlements to give it haste. You could be going for 2 Lotus Fields. Then if you have Aftermath Analyst, you bring them all back from the graveyard. There's a lot of different lines that you have, and it's all contextual to Michael's hand.
All right, so is that at Urza's Cave, I believe?
Yes, Urza's Cave there, and the Lotus Field.
All right, so that's a lot of mana, big mana explosion here. Lotus Field taps for 3. 2 untap triggers on the Amulet of Vigors. Going to sack 2 lands here also.
So that is 4, 5, 6, 7 mana or 8 mana if you want to tap the caves again, but most of the time you want to sack the caves. Put a land into play.
Right. Little judge clarification here. Question probably being, is Michael allowed to do this? Is this allowed? And the answer is yes from the judge, and therefore game 1 goes to Michael.
Yeah, okay. I was like, were they just communicating, hey, I'm about to win? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
All right, so let's take a peek at our sideboards here. See what Jacob's going to do. So, no interaction in game 1. The interaction is Lava Dart your face. So Post-board for Jacob.
Yeah, so sorry, Jim. One thing before we get into that, for anyone who's not familiar with Amulet, what was really said there is, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to more than likely put Infinite Titans into play with Mirror Pool, and then I'm going to infinitely give them haste and attack you down. So we might not see a lot of wins with Amulet, but we'll see a lot of communication that leads to a win for anyone who's not super familiar with the deck.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see someone do it. I love the opponent who crosses their arms and says, all right, kill me.
I make them do it every time once.
Right, me too.
I don't care if it's Dom Harvey, it's Canister sitting across from me. Let's see it. Because it's open deck list, so you already have that information, but you get to learn like how they do it, what avenue they take. Are they, leaving themselves vulnerable to a consign, or are they covering their bases like that? It informs how you sideboard with how tight they are with their deck.
You learn a lot about a Magic player from watching how they play Magic.
Yeah.
And a lot of Magic needs to be played to actually win the game with Amulet Titan. So let's look at Jacob's sideboard. Here we got 4 Consign of Memory, 1 Into the Flood Maw, 2 Murktide Regent, 2 Spell Pierce, 1 Spell Snare, 2 Surgical Extraction, and 3 Unholy Heat.
Yeah, it's not great here. So the consigns, I'm guessing, just absolutely have to come in because there's not really anything else that is very good. But here's the thing. Consign, I thought, was just like, all right, this card is insane and against it. If you play Titan, you have these untapped triggers, or even the Titan trigger itself. Consign that, get that out of there. Maybe you put a Summoner's Pack on the stack, you're dead. But with the way that these decks actually kill these days, where they're just scape-shifting you, and then they have such an abundance of land, the consigns don't do as much there. You can consign, like, let's say, an untapped trigger of a couple Lotus Fields and hope that stymies their development, but consign is not the catch-all be-all against the deck anymore, so I do not love Jacob's sideboard for this matchup. So if I'm Jacob and it's game 2, I'm on the play, I don't even know if I want to like any of these cards. I just want every proactive element and just get them dead.
Not even over Lava Dart?
Lava Dart is not great, but Lava Dart can still represent more damage than Lightning Bolt if you have the prerequisite prowess creatures, but it'll be interesting what Jacob does, because sometimes with these prowess decks, if you over sideboard, you take away the core of your deck, and now you're just, killing on turn 4, maybe turn 5, where prowess should be trying to kill a turn earlier than that.
All right, so going Michael's way, we see a sideboard, the old Amulet Variety Pack, 1 Bajuka Bog, 1 Collector Oof, 2 Dismember, 1 Elvish Reclaimer, 1 Fire Spout, 2 Force of Vigor, 1 Ghost Quarter, 1 Green Sun Zenith, 1 Ice Toe Explorer, 1 Lithmatic Barrage, 1 6, 1 Stock Up, 1 Vexing Boggle. Court, what's up here?
Yeah, exactly. So this is just going to be some functional upgrades. Like, I like the Fire Spout on the draw. Maybe if you go Amulet on 1, you could Fire Spout on 2. Clean up 1 or 2 creatures. That seems totally reasonable, but not a lot I really want to change here. Dismembers seem pretty reasonable because Slickshot Show Off can definitely be bigger than 4 power, aka the life that you would lose to cast Dismember. So I'm probably bringing that in. Yeah, Jim, outside of that, I don't really love anything in this board too much.
Yeah, it's funny because you think of bringing in Dismember against like a burn deck being kind of crazy, but this is not a burn deck.
Yeah.
I would say that this prowess deck is closer to Infect than burn.
Yeah, a little Voltron, suit up 1 creature and go to town. And there's not going to be a lot of interaction like Spell Pierce to blow you out if you go, all right, I take 4, and now I also take the 6, like that's brutal, but yeah, so I would imagine very minimal sideboarding for both players.
All right, so before we get to our next game, we want to tell you about the schedule coming up for next year and expanded a bunch of awesome events. I'm very, very excited. You can see here more cities than I can possibly say. We got Atlanta, Portland, Milwaukee, and many, many more. Some cities here that I love. Love going to LA. I love Portland. Portland's great too. What are you looking forward to here for SGCon in 2026?
Portland is probably like my favorite city. I have never had better food than in Portland, Oregon, so I'm excited for that one. Richmond Suite, very close to where I live, so I get to drive to one of these events. And honestly, it doesn't matter what cities these are in. SCGCon and Star City Games just run such phenomenal events, whether I'm commentating, playing in these main events, or my newfound love of Mystery Seals on Friday. I just have a blast at all these, so I'm excited to attend most, if not all, of these events here in 2026.
I got a birthday event there in Washington, D.C. It's on my birthday weekend. So,
all right, I'm skipping that one.
Wow. All right, well, I'll have a great time without you, Corey. I'll have the best time on my birthday weekend. All right, so.
I want to surprise you on your birthday, so I got to tell you I'm skipping now, and then, throw a big surprise.
So now the surprise would be you told me you're going to surprise me, so you're just not going to show up?
Shut up, Jim.
All right, let's pop down to our match here and see if we can't see some lava darts in action. Slick shot show off and friends. And all right, we got a 1-drop. So big play for Jacob. This was the kind of the key piece that was missing in game 1. If game 1 there had been a 1-drop, not a preordain,
and
the mutagenic growth targeted the 1-drop, not the opposing spawn, maybe a different game.
Yeah, that was 6. That's 6 damage.
Right.
Because the spawn, your 2/2 couldn't attack. Plus, this would be 4 with the mutagenic growth. So, turn 1 Swift Spear. Ryan Overturf's hair on the back of his neck just stood up. He's like, "Did someone cast it on camera?"
We see you, Ryan.
Yeah.
We can't see you right now, but we see you. All right, we see a Vexing Bauble from Michael off of an Urza Saga. What's Vexing Bauble 2 up here?
There's
no mocks in here. What's going on?
Yeah, there's not a lot that it actually does, especially on the draw. It's countering Mishra's Bauble and Flashback Lava Darts. That, and I guess mutagenic growth, but outside of that, and especially if you're on the draw, your opponent's probably going to play those baubles, so I think it's fine. It probably leads me to believe that maybe there's just not a great sideboard and he didn't take out the one-of that's in the main.
It does possibly slow down the truly broken draws.
Yeah. And I got to say, Vexing Bauble, I think is the stonks on Vexing Bauble is rising. We just saw the Magic Online Championship last weekend where the winner played 4 of this in the main. So it is a card that is doing so much work in the modern metagame right now against all the Blink decks that's playing all this free stuff, Affinity decks that have all these 0 drops. Modern's becoming this free spell style of format, so a card like Vexing Bauble is really keeping them in check. I love seeing this innovation here from Michael.
Not just for vintage anymore. So we see a rumble on Michael's side, a little bit of setup. Now we're going back, Jacob. So we see a preordain. Looks much better when you're making 2 prowess triggers off the preordain.
It sure does. Looks like we have an EI on top as well, Expressive Iteration. And looking like just the basic mountain was put on top and the EI on the bottom. One of my favorite cards ever, by the way. I love Expressive Iteration.
Yeah, I can see that being a little too slow for what's
Me
happening
too,
here.
but, still.
Corey doesn't care.
Yeah.
Lava Dart.
Not flashing that one back, though. Dare you to try.
I wanted to try. I mean, it's still prowess triggers.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
It's still 4 damage.
Yeah. All right, yeah, we might cast this.
All right, so coming in for 2 prowess triggers so far. It's a pretty healthy chunk of damage.
Yeah, because here's the thing is, next turn, with your opponent having Urza Saga at 2, you could be dead.
Right, gotta go.
Yeah.
All right, so Flashback Lava Dart or not?
Looks like a not.
All right. Damage going through. We're going to see Michael down to 7 life points. So would have been 3 off the Lava Dart. Again, Dart wouldn't resolve. Prowess triggers would. But
yeah, and putting Michael to 3 isn't the biggest deal, but it might have been worth it, depending on what's in hand for Jacob, because, well, Michael definitely could put in some blockers here. Arboreal Grazer, there's a decent amount of other creatures that can actually block. Not ideal how Michael would win this game to try to assemble some blockers here. I think his main chance is to just go for the win.
Yeah, the Amulet decks now are much more combo-y, where back in the day they would kind of just put a few Titans in play, put a bunch of lands in play, and say go with some Teleria West in their hand or whatever. But now they kind of just win.
Yeah.
All right, so there's your Amulet. A mana is floating. That's a Crumbling Vestige in play, I believe. We got a 6 revealed as well. All right, Gruul Turf.
Okay.
Make some mana.
So it looks like we have 4 mana to start.
I think that's 6. Oh, it's a 5. Ooh. Ouchie wowie. Wish we cast that Lava Dart. The one of Fire Spout.
Yeah, especially if Jacob has a lightning bolt in hand. That's going to be gigantic.
Yep.
Oh, man. Well, all right. It looks like Michael did bring in the Fire Spout, and it was amazing.
Yeah, that's these one-ofs of the sideboard, where when you only have 1 or 2, you can't really play around it. So when they hit, they really hit. There's the bolt, but
now we got it. We got the dart in the yard now. GG.
All right, so that's going to be enough with the Lightning Bolt and the Lava Dart for the Slick Shot show-off. So bit of a scary moment for Jacob.
Yeah.
The Fire Spout, but evens things up here with a much faster, much better draw. But Now we got Michael on the play for game 3 where things get a little scary. Definitely a very racy matchup.
Yeah, two ships just passing in the night, it kind of seems like right now. Not a lot of players have a lot of interaction for each other. Besides the one piece of interaction that was amazing, that one of Fire Spout, outside of that, we're not going to see a ton. You know, maybe Jacob has consigns it interacts with there's a Saga pretty favorably, or maybe into the Flood mod to bounce like an amulet or something. You know, I mean, these are not great pieces of interaction. But the Fire Spout was amazing.
Yeah, so I imagine no major changes here at sideboarding, right?
I wouldn't think so.
Just going to be going fast, trying to do your thing, and then, with Michael on the play, I think it's on Jacob to break serve.
Yeah, maybe Jacob does have to bring in some slower elements here, where maybe now you take out those lava darts, maybe you take out some baubles since you're on the draw and you just saw one, maybe two vexing baubles. That would be kind of a nightmare. So I could see maybe henging like that. But other than that, I wouldn't expect any sideboard changes from Michael.
Cool. So we'll shuffle up for game 3 here. But first, Corey, I was showing Corey yesterday on my mystery booster pools that I opened not one but 2 ghostly prisons.
That you did.
And I was like, Corey, this is a $20 card.
Really?
And Corey said, nah. And I'm like, I showed him. And then so I could pop on over to the Star City booth. I could sell it to them and get some store credit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's pretty much what I do with all my cards. Is luckily I live right next to the Star City's headquarters, so I just call them up, say, hey, I want to sell 4 deck boxes worth of card. I always get that 30% trade-in bonus because I'm rebuying Magic cards 100% of the time, and they give very fair, affordable rates. Big props to them and selling your cards.
Yep, so you can bet those prisons will probably belong to Star City soon.
Yes.
I'm not really a Commander player. And I'll buy some standard cards for it.
You got it.
Check them out at sellyourcards.starcitygames.com if you don't live next to Star City Games. But if you do, go on over and say hi.
Absolutely.
All right, so pop back to our match here and see if Jacob can break serve in this Amulet Titan versus Izzet Prowess matchup. Round 3 of the Regional Championship. Here in beautiful, sunny Houston, Texas.
Look at that cut. The one card from Michael. I respect it.
All right, so fanning out 7. I imagine both players will be mulliganing pretty aggressively here.
I would think so, yep. And we see Michael already mulliganing, so yep, you've nailed it there. And okay, there we do see Consign in the hand from Jacob, so either had him for both matchups, which totally reasonable, or brought him in to kind of break serve on the draw. We'll have to ask him to find out.
Yeah, and Jacob, hand looked very interaction, spell heavy, and threat light, which I think is not where you want to be at here.
Yep, exactly. And Michael's hand could have been a plethora of anything. Either way, it wasn't a turn 3 Titan or sooner.
All right, so Jacob really thinking about this one. It's always a tough choice when you look at 2 lands, 5 spells in your prowess deck, but maybe only one threat or not the right threat, and do you want to keep its spells and lands, but got to find the right things, and it looks like that's a keep.
Yeah, it looks like it, and you never know. Consign can also be really good. It's a lot better on the play when you can actually counter an amulet. That's probably the best thing you can do with it. But hey, Michael doesn't always have an untapped land, so amulet on 2 is a common play from Jacob. So if he doesn't have a 1-drop, leaving up Consign is respectable.
I'm pretty face up though, right?
Yeah, you would think. Or end step, dart you. Boom.
Don't
19.
Don't get me excited, all right? It's only round 3, Corey. We got a long tournament, all right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so card goes to the bottom for Michael. Michael's going to kick us off here with an Urza Saga. I'm just going to say go. And Jacob, Bloodstained Mire, just saying go.
Drew the dart off the top, though, so the dream's live.
All right, so just a shifting woodland, much slower pace to this game.
So this is something I would love to see Jacob do. Even if he has a 2-drop, just do not cast it. Consign the Chapter 3 trigger from Saga. It counters an amulet here, so that's what I would like to see Jacob do. Even if he has Corey Steelcutter, Bobble, which would be a great turn 2. Preventing your opponent from having an amulet is much more important.
Let me stop you there.
Okay.
It's a counter, a bobble, and a 1-mana Stone Rain.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's the important part. All right, it's untap. Jacob draws. Bloodstained Mire. You got a very spell-heavy hand.
Yeah, I see a Spell Pierce too. Spell Pierce definitely, it can be good in that early game, but otherwise it can be horrific.
All right, Corey called it. Consign the trigger, so no amulet for you, no land for you. 1 mana floating. Here's a Crumbling Vestige. 3 mana total. And a Spelunkin. Uh-oh.
And just like I was saying, Spell Pierce is great in this matchup, and it's absolutely amazing. You should always have all your copies in because it just counters a Spelunking right on time.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob's next got Lava Dart. It's got Spell Pierce. I'm happy.
Yeah.
See, Ryan's over here. Ryan came back early from lunch. He's like, ooh, what's going on over here?
Yeah.
And there's Spell Pierce. Spelunking is gone. But now Jacob's going to find some pressure.
Yeah, Ryan still has the bib from lunch. He rushed over here because he heard Prowess was on, so that's respect to the craft.
All right, so Spear's in. And just in for a modest one. So finding a threat's important, though. Now, at least something is happening.
Yeah, but, now maybe we don't have enough pressure here or a lot of pressure, but I do see the very powerful double strike spell of Violent Urge. So this can really, and Mutagenic Growth, so this could really be a combo finish. Let's keep an eye on the graveyard for Delirium because that's going to be big.
Yeah, and with Lava Dart, Flashback, Mutagenic Growth, we're looking at like an infect kill almost, like the one-shot kill. Oh, you were at 17. I'm sorry, actually, you're dead.
Yes. You really want Infect back, don't you? I think that's the third time you mentioned it.
I'm just saying it's like that big turbo kill.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair, that's fair.
It's funny because I don't like Infect that much, but I do love big one-shot kills with double strikes. So
Okay. With goblins, though, right?
Goblin Power Diver can do that too, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Lava Dart at end step, let's go. 18.
All right, so NSFing the Lava Dart is a bit of a statement saying, I don't care about this Prowess Sugar. I just want to get the damage through the cards in the graveyard.
It's also a tell that, hey, I had interaction last turn.
Yep.
Yeah. Gorgeous Lightning Bolt there, and also land. Okay, we did have another land already, so what we're really looking for from Jacob's side is something to complete Delirium. So a Bobble there would have been insane. That would have been ideal. Other than that, I don't see anything besides land, instant, and sorcery to complete the combo here. But we do see Consign from Jacob still, so being able to counter a possible amulet is really putting Michael in a squeeze here.
All right, so exiling the Tarn. Imagine the Bolt went to hand. Double strike doesn't do too much there for the second Urge. Scalding Tarn comes in. Maybe a lucky Surveil land. Is Surveillance in this list? We got one, right?
I feel like there has to be. You can't leave home without at least one, even in an aggressive deck like this. And yes, we do see one Thundering Falls. So big turn. This could be Michael's last turn here if he doesn't do anything special.
How about a little Sloth?
Oh, yeah. A little Sloth? I mean, this is a time-walking Grazer right now.
All right. Yep, so Grazer comes down. Extra land comes down. It's Lotus Field. Okay, so doing it the old-fashioned way here. No amulet. Just going to sack some lands, have a field for next turn.
Now, we could have consigned that trigger to let Michael keep the 2 lands. Jacob decided not to, so nice.
Why would they want to do that, Corey?
You would not. You would not.
Okay. You got me racking my brain over here. It's like, maybe you would want the lands in play still.
I'm just saying there's options, okay?
Price of progress?
Yeah.
All right, so untap for Jacob. Spear's ready to go. 16 life for Michael still, and that blocker.
And we just got a mountain, but we didn't use that mana, I believe, so didn't get the Thundering Falls. Maybe it's already in the graveyard or something? Side it out? I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. I would think we want to. It would be a great Falls right there.
All right, well, we see a Dragon Rage Channeler here, which is excellent. This is a great path to Delirium.
Yes. So now we did see Jacob does have Lightning Bolt. So you can Lightning Bolt Grazer, Urge, Mutagenic Growth, and then you got 3 looks at putting Delirium into the yard. You need a creature or an artifact. Bang.
Did it.
Okay, so now that is 2 power. Mutagenic Growth makes it 5 power. Violent Urge makes it 7 power. And that's double striking. That's 14. So if there's one more, we should be good.
Dart's still in there, right? A little Lava Dart action.
I think Dart is still in there, and Dart would be +2. So that'd be 18 damage. So
just so you folks know at home, Corey has the fingers out.
Hey!
Corey is counting on his fingers.
Hey!
A little peek behind the curtain here.
Wow.
I'm doing it too, though, because you only have 10 fingers, and we need 16 damage, so I'm helping him out.
Way to throw me under the bus there, okay?
I'm counting my fingers, too, you know. You do the first 10, I'll get the rest.
Okay, perfect. I was about to bust out my toes, so thank you. That's much better.
Please don't. All right, there's the Urge, double strike, Delirium, and add it up.
And this looks like Jacob is breaking serve here in what I would think is a rough matchup. Impressive stuff.
Wow, Jacob, yeah, phenomenal win. I love seeing the big one-shot kills. And that was a really cool game where there was a lot of early not pressure.